Above all, we need to recover pride in our own cultural heritage. If you are in college now, you probably have encountered people who think that there is nothing good about the West, that there's nothing good about Western civilization, that all that Westerners have been are rapacious imperialists and colonialists who have subjugated and oppressed the rest of the world. Have you ever heard that? Yes, I expect you have. And in the 1970s, there was a scholar, so-called, named Edward Said, who wrote a book called Orientalism, which destroyed Middle East studies in the United States. And he posited in his book that any criticism of the Islamic world from the West was ipso facto racist and imperialist, and could not be countenanced. And of course, given the zeitgeist at the time and since then, that has been a hugely popular idea on college campuses, making critical study of the elements of Islam that give rise to violence absolutely impossible on campus, and also vilifying the West, and particularly the Crusades, as being the cause of all the troubles. Well, I'll tell you, the Crusades were a much delayed defensive reaction to Islamic jihad. Islamic jihad warriors came out of the Middle East, came out of Arabia in the 7th century, and they conquered very swiftly the Middle East and North Africa. The Middle East and North Africa were Christian lands and had been for hundreds of years at that time. They had not attacked Arabia. They had not threatened the Muslims. There was no provocation for the attack. It was mandated by the jihad imperative. 450 years after these unprovoked attacks had led to the Islamization of all of North Africa, all of the Middle East, and significant portions of Eastern Europe and Spain, only then was there any reaction in a military form from Europe, and that was the Crusades. And they were only trying not to roll back the whole of these conquests, but simply to gain control of the Holy Land so that Christian pilgrims there would be safe. Now, I am not interested, and I'm not going to defend every aspect of the Crusades. There were many things about them that went wrong. But nonetheless, the effort itself was nothing that any Westerner who is a son or daughter of the Crusaders needs to be ashamed of. This was a response to aggression, not an aggression. There was nothing colonialist or oppressive or imperialist about it. And that is just one aspect of the cultural counterattack that we need to mount at this point, because if we are going to be ashamed of ourselves, of our history and of our heritage, then we will not be interested in defending what our history and heritage have brought us. And we will not have the spiritual energy to resist the jihad that is advancing not only militarily, but in many, many ways, in more subversive ways, in Western Europe and the United States today. And so, it is not cultural cheerleading or Western apologetics to stand up, or religious Christian apologetics to stand up and say that Western civilization has been a great civilization and has built a great thing that is unrivaled in the world. We are defending notions of the universal dignity of all people and of the human rights of all people that are actually expressly denied within Islam, which institutionalizes the discrimination against women and non-Muslims. And we should make no apologies for that. That is, as a matter of fact, all the more essential given the headlines every day.